Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation. This is the Tailgate. This is your pre-match podcast here on the channel, guys. Calling the Tailgates. I'm a big fan of American sports, huge fan of American sports, and we always have a tailgate before American sports. When I've been to American games, we have a big barbecue, loads of drinks and everything before a game. It's fantastic. So we're going to call this podcast now, rather than the Breaking News Team podcast, rather than the pre-match podcast, we're going to call it the Tailgate. Right, welcome along. Obviously, the big news that is breaking this afternoon is the fact that the kickoff is now delayed until 3:45. That is the announcement, official announcement. Now, that is not a rumour. It was been rumoured earlier in the day by some of the fan media sites. However, it is now 100% confirmed. This is on Twitter now, obviously just released within the last 6 or so minutes. It says, owing to the expected late arrival of Dundee United team due to travel delays, this afternoon's match has been delayed until 3:45. Rangers thanks our supporters for their patience and understanding and advises caution when making the journey to Ibrox today. And as you can see, there's the photograph of Ibrox, very resplendent, surrounded by the white stuff. I've got to say, very jealous, guys. You've got a fine dusting down there. We don't have any here. There's no snow at all here in the Midlands of England. But yeah, there we go. Look, it is delayed until 3:45 now. Whether that delays the announcement of the team, I would expect it would kind of do that in a way. Have I gone? Hello, I'm back again. Let's have a look. What's happening now? Have we frozen a little bit? Let's unfreeze. There we go. Bobby Finley says here. So Bobby says, don't see how it's delayed instead of postponed, as this is for Dundee United. What about the Irish, Dumfriesshire and the Ayrshire? Obviously, the issue is around getting coaches and buses to the games. Massive travel delays in Scotland. Apparently, you've had quite the dusting up there of snow. But there we go. Gordon Turnbull says, knowing the weather will be bad, why did Dundee United not travel earlier? I mean, that's a great question, Gordon. I mean, it's called common sense, isn't it? It really genuinely is. But I'll be honest with you, mate. 46 years old I am, and been watching Rangers since 86, 87, and I think, in the last just under 40 years, I think I can quite categorically say, Gordon, that there is you know what? There's no such thing as common sense in football. There genuinely is no common sense in football at all. So yeah, it's just zero common sense in football. It's absolutely ridiculous. K71 Johnny says, up early for this one, Owen. Welcome to the club, lol. Welcome, mate. How you doing? We've been told no transport available today, says Bobby. Bobby, where are you coming from, mate? Where were you coming from to get to Ibrox? I mean, look, it is. I mean, we will talk about football in a minute, but I just want to touch on something. In terms of this, the weather is bad. Yes, I understand the weather's not great in Scotland. I understand in Scotland you get, worse weather than we get here in England. I get that, right? You get pretty shocking snowfalls. One of the trending topics on X at the moment is Edinburgh snowfall, chaos, buses halted, trams in motion. It is crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. Look, one of the things I'm going to say about that is this. I've been to Switzerland. I've been to Switzerland 4 times, actually. And in Switzerland, they have proper snowfall. I mean, I'm talking like stuff that would put Scottish snowfall into a cocked hat. It really would. They have massive, massive drifts of snow. Yeah, the trains are all running. The cars are all running. The planes are all running. Everything runs. Nothing stops. Everything runs. Now, I remember I was going to a place called Gstaad in the Swiss Alps. Quite posh. Funny story about Justin Timberlake. I'll tell you that one day. Me and Justin Timberlake in a bar together. I'll tell you that story one day. I was going up the Alps in a train, and the snow is coming down. There's snow everywhere, but the train is still going up the Alps. Yet in Scotland and England as well, we have a little dusting of snow, and guess what? Well, hey, chaos! We can't have a train journey. We can't have a bus. It's too dangerous. There's a little dusting. It might skid. Oh, for God's sake, get a life, mate. Seriously, like some seriously ridiculous. Dumfriesshire, 7 miles from South Ayrshire border and 7 miles to South Lanarkshire border. That's where Bobby's coming from. This is not Dundee United's fault. It's the infrastructure for someone who drives a HG up and down this country. Yeah, James, I get that 100%, mate. The infrastructure in this country is a joke. It is an absolute joke. Not enough is invested in the roads. Not enough is invested in the transport links in this country. You go abroad, you go to Europe, and I'm sure like some of you who've travelled with Rangers will know this. You go abroad and the transport, on the continent is 10 times better than the transport in the UK. It really, really is. It's not even a debate, is it? It's absolutely, hilariously bad in this country. Look, team news. Look, I don't know. There's a lot of rumours spinning around. A lot of rumours spinning around. Let's just bring up. Actually, I'm just going to bring up a video clip. Escape that. This is from Twitter. I'll just bring this up to you. I want to show you Ibrox as it presently is. Share screen. I'm going to just bring it up for you. Sharing the screen. This is on X at the moment. Two seconds whilst I get this work. It's great when the internet works. Was this now? Yeah, so it's just on X at the moment. You've got a clip of X at this moment in time of what's going on at Ibrox. Let's find it quick for you. This is Ibrox here. Where is it? Let's find it. Joshua Barry put this out not so long ago. Joshua Barry, who is a fanny. Let's have a look. Why is the internet being so slow today? Done. Here we go. So that's what it looks like presently. That's Ibrox at this moment in time. Rotate back that way. There you go. Look, it's looking all right, isn't it? Pitch is looking quite good. Pitch is looking quite good there. Not too bad at all. Gordon says, yeah, you're right. Countries cope with 3 foot of snow. We get an inch and the whole country grinds to a halt. Absolutely. Speaking as a Highlander, mate, I can confirm things definitely do not come to a halt with bad weather. Good lad, Pablo. It would help if the gritters put out grit when you see them driving past. Agree, Bobby. Highlands be like Norway. Workers sorting roads out down here. Gritters hold things back till midnight and get paid more. Mate, that's all politics, isn't it? That's all politics. Look, in terms of team news today, there's lots of rumours doing the rounds today. Especially I think with the fact that Philippe Clement will obviously have one eye on the game on Thursday. We travel to Nice now. We play today. The kickoff's obviously delayed, moved back. It is a case where there is a belief that there may be some more rotation today to rest players ahead of the game on Thursday, that there may be some issues around, certain players getting rested. So, some of the stories that I've heard and I've read so far this morning has been that Danilo will start in place of Dessers. I certainly hope that rumour is true. What will be really interesting today to see who starts at right back. If Tav starts today, does that mean then that we're far more likely to see Sterling at right back on Thursday night? I've got to say though, one thing that kind of gets me about this rotation at the moment, this moment in time, is we've just come out of an international break where some players haven't played for 2 weeks. Okay, so look, we've got a proportion of the squad who have been away on an international duty, who have played games, and have had some football over the last sort of 2 weeks. But there's a lot of football, where there has been no football. There you go, Emmy. Look, Leon Balogun hasn't played over the last 2 weeks. Sterling hasn't played. Tav hasn't played. Souttar has played. So Souttar has played over the last 2 weeks. He's played all the games and Souttar was excellent for Scotland, wasn't he? Really, really, really good. Really, really good. Afternoon, Ewan. Pablo, that's a great shout. I'd love to see Lovelace get a run out today. That's a really good shout. Right, guys, whilst we're talking through this, whilst we're waiting for more news, whilst we're obviously going to try and get through to the team news here, and talk through sort of the stories and possible team combinations in the chat. Get me your teams up. Write down your teams in the chat and I'll bring them up and we'll talk about them on screen. Proper hasn't played. Ridvan hasn't played any international football. Obviously, Big Cass is out. Just an update on Cass. I'm reading now that Cass's injury might not be as bad as Clement said it was yesterday. That after his appointment with the surgeon, we could be looking at 6 to 8 weeks out and not the whole season. So certainly that would be good news if it is true, because he is a very good footballer and certainly someone who has added to the teams. King obviously has played. I think King did some under 21s. Devine hasn't. Yefte hasn't. Fraser hasn't. And Ciala hasn't. The midfielders. Dowell hasn't played over the last 2 weeks. Barron has been away with Scotland. Raskin hasn't. Dio hasn't. Dio was dropped by the Ivory Coast and the Ivory Coast actually lost without Dio. Cole McKinnon hasn't. Lowry hasn't. Rice hasn't. And Finley Curtis hasn't. Tom Lawrence is injured. Yanis Hagi has been on international duty, obviously. Vaslav Cherny has been on international duty. Badrami has. Dexter hasn't been on international duty because he's shit. Danilo hasn't been on international duty. Matondo's injured. Lovelace was a good shout from Pablo. Cortez obviously is unfit. Hamza hasn't been on international duty. And McCausland actually hasn't been on international duty because of his injury. So, look, there's not a lot of players there that actually have played international football over these last 2 weeks. So I think resting certain players and then saying, well, we can't play them 2 games in a week is a bit of a joke, really. I think it really is. And I think if Clement comes out and says that, I think it's a little bit of a joke for him to come out and say that. What have we got? David says in the live chat, Gritters have had 2 days notice of the bad weather upcoming. Correct, mate. But what you've got to remember is anything run by a council, anything run by a group of administrators is never going to work, mate. Councils, gloriously inefficient. We should get rid of all councils. Let business run the local authorities. See, Souttar made the Nations League team of it. Yeah, look, John Souttar. Yeah, Graham Brown, great shout from Graham Brown. Pablo, I'll get to the Rice. Yeah, so look, I mean, it's John Souttar. I want to talk about John Souttar first of all. I mean, John, I think will play today. One thing that Clement doesn't seem to do is he doesn't seem to rotate Souttar an awful lot. You know, there's a lot of rotation next to Souttar. You know, we've had Proper there, we've had Balogun there, Cass has played there. But in terms of John Souttar, he doesn't seem to rotate John Souttar an awful lot. So I'll be honest with you, I think Souttar gets an unfair press some of the time. He really does. I think John Souttar is a good footballer. I think he's a very solid footballer. You know, if you look at what his strengths are in this team, I mean, one of his biggest strengths is the way he brings the ball out from the back. He engages their opposition midfield and then plays the passes through. Now, if you're going to break down a low block, if you're going to take on a mid block, your defender coming out and drawing out some of their midfielders will help to open that gap a little bit for your midfielders to create. So that's one really good aspect of John Souttar's play. Obviously, as well, he's a guy who puts his body on the line. He really does put his body on the line. He throws himself in front. He throws himself in front of shots. He gets stuck in. His tackling's not bad. I think one of the things that Souttar does suffer from is having to cover for James Tavernier. If you go and whenever Tav plays, if you watch Souttar, the number of times John Souttar is in the right back slot, playing right back, when he should be playing in the middle. Now the problem with that is the moment you have your 2 centre halves need to maintain a decent line and hold a gap in the middle of the park, okay, if they're going to contain the strikers. Now the problem we've got is that Tav goes missing constantly and John Souttar constantly is being pulled out of position, so the gap between those two opens. So when teams counter attack on us and Tav isn't getting back, you've got then one central defender in the middle, Souttar pulled to the right, Yefte on the left, and you've got big gaps for them to run through, and that creates a problem. Now when Sterling's played right back or Cass has played right back, you tend to find that Souttar and whoever he's playing alongside, be it Balogun, be it Proper, be it Cass, you've got solid there. They don't get pulled out of position, and he's not been pulled out of position, and he's not getting beaten by balls down the side or balls inside of him. So that is one thing that really does affect, and I think a lot of people actually underestimate the impact that playing James Tavernier has on this team, and it's not a positive one, it's a very negative impact on this team. It really genuinely is. So Souttar is, for me, is a very good player. Now people say, but yeah, he makes mistakes. Yes, John Souttar does make mistakes. I'll give you that. John Souttar does make mistakes, right? But you know why John Souttar makes mistakes? Because that's the sort of player that he is. He is going to make the odd mistake. He is going to get caught out by the odd ball over the top or the odd ball down the side. Now, I'll be honest with you. If Souttar didn't get caught out, if Souttar wasn't caught out once or twice a game by the balls down the side, by the balls over the top, then he wouldn't be at Rangers. You'd find that the EPL teams would be coming sniffing, the Tottenhams, the Chelseas, the Aston Villas, the Brightons would be coming sniffing round John Souttar and taking him off our hands, because that's what happens. The moment you get, and look, Rangers, yes, are one of the biggest teams in world football, but whether we like it or not, we haven't got the money we used to have. This is not the David Murray era, the Graham Souness era, the Walter Smith era. This is not that era when we can go out and spend multi-millions on players and then hold on to those players for as long as we want them. The problem is that down south, you've got 20 teams in the English Premier League that have by far bigger budgets than we do. And we're talking even the Brightons, Leicesters, Brentfords, Ipswiches of this world all have bigger budgets than Rangers because of the fact they have vast sums of TV money and vast sponsorship deals and, better marketing than we do. So the problem is they pull in a lot of money from outside and therefore they can go and pretty much cherry pick who they want. Now, Souttar, if he was consistently brilliant all the time, would be down south. He would not be in Scotland still. So I think in terms of Souttar in the Rangers squad, he is probably one of the best defenders we have. If you compare him to the others, Big Leon for me is brilliant. I love Big Leon. Big Leon's probably the best centre back we've got still. The guy's a legend, absolute legend. Whereas I think Proper's a bit of a bomb scare. Cass is decent. Nsiala we haven't seen yet. Leon King is decent, but still learning the game. So, I think Souttar's very much up there with some of the best players we've got. Stuart Allison says Souttar is our most improved player. I think he's one of our most improved players, correct. And there's not a lot of them, Stuart, that have improved, mate. Pablo says Souttar has been the most improved in the last year and the most consistent. And I tell you what else has really helped John Souttar has been the... yes, absolutely, our entire team make mistakes. They do, 100%. I'll be honest with you, mate. The whole situation around John Souttar, I think he is probably one of the only players that's improved. There's very few players that have improved in this team. I would say you look at this team and you look at what the manager's supposed to do and you look at how a manager is supposed to improve his players. Well, Clement hasn't really improved anybody. The only player he's improved really is Souttar. But I think what's helped John Souttar is the fact he steered clear of injury. I don't think it's Clement that's improved Souttar. I think it's just that if you look back across John Souttar's career, he's always been a player who gets injured. He plays 5 games, 10 games, then gets injured, misses a period of months, comes back, plays again, plays well, gets injured, and he's always had that period of where he's been his football has been broken up by injuries. But touch wood, the guy's staying fit now. He seems to be over those injury issues. He's the one player at Rangers that does seem to be over those injury issues, doesn't he? Let's face it, how many players have we got with injury issues at Rangers? So many. He's the one that does seem to be over it. KJ71 Jolly says, back in the day, my grandfather worked on the docks alongside of guys who played for the Gers on the Saturday. Now they get paid millions and can't play twice in 7 days. Mate, 100%. 100%. I've got to say, that reminds me of one of my favourite footballers of all time. I was reading, and I've never seen him play, but I read his autobiography, Len Shackleton, the clown prince of soccer. The guy was a legend. And there's a story where he works down a mine, like Jackie Milburn for Newcastle. They work down a mine 5 days a week, and then at the weekend they played football. So that for 5 days in the week, they would work down a mine, go to training in the evening, and then play football on the weekend. And we've got players now that can't play 2 games or 3 games in 7 days. I think it's just shocking, mate. Shocking. Thank you, Graham. Yeah, absolutely, guys. If you can hit the like, that would really help. And obviously subscribe if you've not yet subscribed to the channel. If Souttar keeps it up, he could be the best defender in the league. Mate, I think he is one of the best defenders in the league. I think he genuinely is one of the best defenders in the league. He is a top player. He really is a very, very good footballer. And like I said, I do find some Rangers fans that criticise him, criticise his performances, a little lacking in football intelligence. I mean, yeah, I would love to have two monster centre halves. I would love to have two players of the like of a Terry Butcher or a Richard Goff or a Lorenzo Amoruso, or someone like that. But the days of us being able to afford the likes of Richard Goff, Colin Hendry, Terry Butcher, Lorenzo Amoruso, those sorts of players are long gone. They're long gone. We can't. I mean, can you imagine trying to buy Richard Goff now or Terry Butcher now? How much do you think it would cost to get Terry Butcher or Richard Goff up here now? You'd be looking at 60, 70, 80 million pounds. I mean, Harry Maguire, who's fairly shit, cost Manchester United 86 million pounds. I mean, it's an astronomical amount of money. It genuinely is. So, if you wanted to buy a defender of the class of a Richard Goff now or a Terry Butcher, you would be looking somewhere north of 70 million, 80 million pounds for the player. I mean, that's how good those lads are now. That sort of player is going to cost you an arm and a leg. And like I said, with the greatest will in the world, we're not shopping in those markets anymore. We don't have that sort of money anymore to be able to go and buy that sort of player, which I would love. Don't get me wrong, I would love us tomorrow to go and buy two of the best centre in British. I'd love us at top and a halves, but unfortunately, it just doesn't happen because it's just it's unfortunate, isn't it? It really is genuinely unfortunate, that position. And those of you, who are like me, who grew up watching the likes of Terry Butcher, of Richard Goff, of Colin Hendry, those types of players, maybe we were a bit spoilt. Maybe we're kind of stuck in the past a little bit, wanting players like that. But like I said, it unfortunately just doesn't happen now. It really doesn't happen. And I'd love it to happen again. I mean, if you consider as well, look, Virgil van Dijk, who's probably the best defender in world football at this moment in time, when he was transferred to Liverpool in 2018, cost them £80 million. 80 million. And the guy would still cost 30 million now, even at 33. See fans who say we can't sign projects, rubbish. O'Reilly played 16 games in the SPL in his first season, more arrogance from the fan base. Yeah, Matt O'Reilly, another one. Look, as much as I hate the fact that he played for them, top player, top player, really good player. Yeah, absolutely. William White says, do you think Butland has been told to stay on his line, doesn't come out as much now? I think that's a lack of confidence. I think he's suffering a lack of confidence, mate. I don't think he'd have been told to stay there. You try telling a goalkeeper what to do, they're all bloody yampy goalkeepers. I think he's just lacking a lot of confidence. I think he is another one whose confidence has taken a bit of a battering. You've heard him call the manager into question as well, haven't you? Not directly, but indirectly through some of the things that he said. How many of the current team would even get on Celtic's bench? Not a single one. That's how far the team have failed. Odd one, but I don't want to have to do this again. I did it yesterday. It made me feel sick. I did a joint Rangers Celtic team yesterday. Man, I'm gonna have to do it again, aren't I? It makes me feel sick. This, it really does. But if you took the two teams, okay. If you took the two teams and everybody was fit, okay, and we had everybody available and everybody good to go, how many of our players do I think would get in Celtic's team? That's a great question. It really is. I'll be honest with you. Right. Look, this might be slightly different from yesterday, but if you had to pick a joint team, that would be my joint team. Okay, so Butland in goal. Butland's better than Schmeichel. So odd one, boy. I'd say that Butland would displace Schmeichel. He's a better goalkeeper than Schmeichel. Johnston is better than all our right backs. Korhos, Vickers, yeah. Souttar. Look, Souttar's a better player than Scales. Souttar's a better player than that absolute ginger prick Scales. So, yeah, I'd put Souttar in ahead of him. Ridvan's a better player than Taylor. Hjefte's a better player than Taylor. Both of those guys are better than Taylor. Hatate, Barron and McGregor. Barron's a better player than Bernardo. Kuhn, you would get in ahead of Cherney. Kyogo would get in ahead of Dessers. But Bayrami's better than Maida. Maida's shit. Maida only looks good against us because Tav's shit. So, that'd be my joint 11. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To answer your question, odd one, ball, 5 of our team would get into a combined Rangers Celtic 11, which we all know would never happen. Cheney, William White suggests Cheney. The only thing I'd say about that, William, is I suppose if you played Kuhn on the left, then Cheney would get in their team. Yeah, afternoon, Jado, how you doing, buddy? Pablo, Footy, Terry Butcher, we couldn't afford Pat Butcher, mate. Absolutely. Why drive a gritter truck and no put any down? What the fuck? Good point. Good point, mate. Good point. There is a fair few like that, isn't there? Stuart says, none of our players would get in their team because their players are all better suited to their style of play. Yeah, I mean, look, if you're looking on style of play, obviously, yeah, but I'm just going on picking the best 11. If you had to pick the best 11 and you picked another manager to coach them, not Brendan Rodgers and certainly not Inspector Clueless, then, you know, that for me would... I honestly believe that John Souttar is a better player than Liam Scales. Ridvan is better than Taylor. I'd say Barron's better than Panardo. I'd say Bayrami's better than Maida. I mean, Maida's shit. Maida's shit. Hi, mate. I'm good, mate. You okay? So obviously we're still waiting team news. We're an hour and 45 minutes away from kickoff now. Obviously it'll be about an hour and a half, so hopefully soon we'll have some team news for you. Look, I mean, as I've discussed John Souttar, I've kind of said, you know, right, guys, question for you in the live chat. Who do you think will play alongside John Souttar today for Rangers? Who do you think is going to be the man alongside Souttar? So let me know. Bobby says, down here they get paid more money after midnight, so they do a run and don't go full back up with grits. They go back after midnight. Mate, that's what road workers do as well. See, Tottenham fans are complaining about Ange Ball. Fair warning for the Muscat fans. The only thing I'd say about that, Airwolf, is that Ange Ball works really well in Scotland. It works really well in Scotland, okay? Ange Ball works in Scotland because you've just got to look at the success Celtic had in Scotland. With Ange Postecoglou, they won trebles. They'd probably have won another treble if he'd been the manager last season. They probably would have won a treble this season. So I would say that in Scotland, Ange Ball's fine, and I think Muscat Ball would work in Scotland. The only thing I'd say down south is that you're coming up against a lot better teams who know how to counteract that fast-paced style, how to beat the high line, how to cause problems. So if you look at when he was at Celtic, the only team that he kind of came up against that he may have had a problem with is us. Down south, you know, Tottenham have got Arsenal are better than them, Chelsea are better than them, Villa are better than them, Newcastle are better than them, Liverpool are better than them, Manchester City are better than them. I mean, that's 6 teams there just alone that are better than them. You know, so I think it's a different... Well, I'd say Brighton are better this season than Tottenham. So, you know, I think sometimes styles of football don't translate, do they, from one league to another? I mean, Walter Smith never had any success at Everton, yet he was a massive success at Rangers. And his style of football worked in Scotland, but didn't work south of the border. So I think you can't really compare Ange Ball, Muscat Ball in Scotland and compare it with England because it's a completely different way of playing and a completely different league with, like I said, 6 to 8 teams who are a lot stronger than you, who are going to go up against you and are going to take you on. Whereas I think up here, you have less teams that come and take you on, less teams that want to try and take you on and will try and hit the ball over you and try and exploit your high line. So there we go. That's my argument. It might be rubbish, I don't know. Dado says he's picking proper today. Hopefully not. Philippe Clermont never changes the formation. It's always the same formation. I think Balogun will play alongside Souttar today. Mate, Stephen, I would absolutely love Balogun, Big Leon, to start. I am the biggest Big Leon fan. I love Big Leon Balogun. The guy's a legend. The guy is a legend. Absolute legend. Let's see. But when you play someone decent, you get your pants pulled down. Exactly, you do. And that's why Ange Ball never worked in Europe, did it? I mean, look at it this way, Airwolf, and I think this is the key point here. Ange Ball worked in Scotland brilliantly. It worked brilliantly in Scotland. And look, as much as I hate the guy, I hate Celtic, you've got to say that he did a great job at Celtic. He won things at Celtic. But in Europe, they got their pants pulled down and they got spanked. Down south, he's getting his pants pulled down, he's getting spanked. Like I said, I think that type of football works in Scotland, but doesn't work outside of Scotland because of the fact that in Scotland, you're only really playing Celtic or Rangers, depending on who you are the manager of. Whereas, like I said, down south, you're playing Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, Manchester United, Manchester City, Brighton, Villa, Newcastle, all those teams who are better than you. But Big Leon will put PC will put Proper back in. I hope he won't. I have heard a rumour that Proper might be sold in January. I don't know how true that is. Is Proper better than King in the SPL? I would say not. King, I like Leon King. I've got absolutely no issues with Leon King whatsoever. I think he's a good player. I don't think he gets a fair crack at the whip. I don't think he cracks it. Did Walter no go to Everton when they had no money? I can't remember. Everton have never really had any money, Bobby. They've never been a particularly rich club. There is only one club in Liverpool. That's the red side. That's just how it is, mate. I mean, I forget the statistic. Both my daughters are Liverpool fans. But I think it's 29 years since Everton won a trophy. Rodgers was a failure at Leicester. That's why he's up here. The levels are totally different. Exactly. He won an FA Cup, but he got them relegated. He bottled the league title when he was Liverpool manager with a Liverpool team that should have won the league. I mean, he had Sturridge, he had Suarez, he had Gerrard, he had Lucas Leiva. He had some quality players in that team. How long will King, Rice, Fraser be around if they don't get a shot soon? That's a fantastic question. KJ71 Jolly, fantastic question. It's got to be something that's going to be asked because Robbie Fraser's out of contract in 2026. Leon King is out of contract in 27, I think, or 26. Let's have a quick look. I'm sure I've got the stats somewhere on here. Let me have a quick look at the contracts. 26 is... Yeah, Robbie Fraser's out of contract in... Let me just get rid of this comment for a minute. Okay, James, take your comment down for a minute so we can see this slide. Okay, put the slide up. Take the banner off as well. There we go. So, yeah, Leon King's out of contract in 2026. Robbie Fraser is out of contract in 2026. So they've both got 2 years left to run on their deals. But yeah, it's a brilliant question. How long are some of these youth players going to stick around if they're not getting an opportunity to play? Because, as much as you want to play for Rangers, as much as I'm sure that Rice and Fraser and Leon King love being Rangers players, if they're not getting first team football, then they're going to start, asking questions and wanting a move away because, they're going to stunt their careers. They're going to have a situation where, they're not actually playing. And how is that good for them? Bailey Royce's contract also expires in 2026 as well. So, yeah, I mean, we're both coming in with those guys, coming into that sort of 2-year window, like I discussed on the video I did the other day, the contract video. It is a situation where with 2 years to go, you really need to be going to it, or saying, look, we're going to sell you because you haven't got a future at this club, so we need to move you on. It's a good point. Our academy players must be disenfranchised with lack of chances. Agreed, mate. I agree with you on that one, Airwolf. Please stop bumming up Celtic managers. They all get soft helping going. Okay, sorry. One thing Rangers are good at is letting players run out their contract. Yeah, very true, Dream Crusher. Very, very true. They are very good at letting people run down their contracts. It is one of the big concerns, isn't it, of football in Scotland and football with the Rangers lot, isn't it? It's letting those contracts run down. But yeah, I agree. I really would like to see more young players getting more of a run out. Pablo says Rice has only turned 18. Yeah, but I suppose you look at the likes of look down south. Look at Harwood Bellis. Look at Foden. Look at Jude Bellingham when he first started playing. Joe Bellingham at Sunderland. Look at the likes of Conor Bradley at Liverpool. Look at the likes of Rico Lewis at Manchester City. Look at the likes, obviously, of was it Nwanri or whatever he's called, the Arsenal kid. The teams down south don't seem to be afraid to play players even when they're 17, 18. These guys are getting games down there. They're getting game time. Ethan what's the guy's name? Look at the young lad that plays for Arsenal. I can't remember his name. Ethan Nwanri. Ethan Nwanri is 17 and he's already played 5 games this season for Arsenal. I mean, and that's a top team. That's a top team. I mean, you look at Phil Foden. Phil Foden's 24 now, but if you go back to the start of Phil Foden playing for Manchester City, the first time he played for Manchester City was when he was 17. So another one that, very young, started off, played. Curtis Jones, Liverpool player who's playing for England now. Another one who started his career when he was 17, 18 for Liverpool. You look at some of the players that Newcastle have brought through. There's a lot of young lads. Chris Rigg, a 16-year-old who played for Sunderland, made his Sunderland debut at 15 years old. Lamine Yamal, Another one, 16. So, you know, I do think that this age thing is a ridiculous one. I think if you're good enough, you're old enough. I don't care how old you are. If you're good enough, you're old enough. And one of the things that winds me up about Rangers is the fact that we don't give youth a chance. We don't give youth a chance. The only youth player that's had a chance in the last few seasons has been Ross McCausland. You know, Cole McKinnon's had the odd game here and there, or the odd 20 minutes, should I say, here and there. Zach Lovelace has had half a game at St Mirren when then he got injured. He had, was it 10 minutes against FCSB? That's pretty much it. We haven't seen Bailey Rice yet. Bailey Rice was we were told that Bailey Rice was one of the next big things in Scottish football. And we were told that Bailey Rice was a better player than Lennon Miller. You know, Lennon Miller, who's now captaining Motherwell at 18. I mean, it's incredible. Mika got 19 appearances for Ajax, young lad. To be fair, some of them get 10 minutes at the end of a game, then back to the reserves. Airwolf says Harto at 18 played 53 games in the Eredivisie from 16. Yeah, he did. Like I said, I do think that Rangers, you know, with the other thing we need to consider, guys, is the fact that because the club is in the position it is in now, where we are not financially rich, we are not in a position to splash cash right, left, centre and everywhere because we just haven't got the money anymore. You know, these young players, we've got to start using them. We've got to start. And how will you ever learn whether Bailey Rice is good enough, or Cole McKinnon is good enough, or Finlay Curtis? And I want to touch on Finlay Curtis in a minute. You know, are good enough if we don't try them, if we don't play them. And I think, like I said, I think we underestimate, number one, these players, because I think a lot of these players will come in and they will go for it because they'll want to keep the shirt. They'll have more heart, more fight, more passion than some of the other deadwood out there. You know, I would suggest that Finlay Curtis, that Zach Lovelace, that Bailey Rice, that Cole McKinnon, that Adam Devine will show more heart, more fight, more battle than James Tavernier ever does. And also the fact that, you know, you look at someone like Finlay Curtis. You know, Finlay Curtis is a fantastic footballer. Fantastic footballer. I mean, the guy's stats, his stats are absolutely incredible. Let me see if I can find his stats. His stats are absolutely incredible for a young lad. He's 18 years old. He's a midfielder. I mean, this season in the Scottish Challenge Cup, he's played 4 games, scored 3, made 2. So he's got 5 goal contributions in 4 games. The lad's a class act. He really is. Let me see if I can find out some more information on him for you. I mean, some of the stats on this lad are just mad stats on him. He can play left midfield, he can play right midfield. So, you know, he's another player perhaps, you know, we could look at out wide. So why are we not playing these players? Why are we not giving this lad a, you know, we haven't got a left winger. I mean, Bayrami's not a left winger. You know, so why are we not seeing this lad have a go? You know, he's a top player. His stats are great. I mean, I can't remember the exact stats, but it's something like 50 goals in the last 38 games in the B team. I mean, it's just fabulous. And I know B team football isn't as hard as A team football, but still, give the lad a chance. Airwolf says, Rice, another fleck, built up to end up with no substance, possibly, mate. Fed up of hearing these youngsters aren't ready for our first team. Then next you hear of them that they're leaving and they're in their mid-20s. Disgusting. Yeah, and it's often for nothing. And it's a lot of money. There's a lot of players that we've lost, obviously. Just arrived, and I see damn frustrated their academy players are not getting any minutes. I'm totally done with Clement. He just tells you what you think. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. And that's one of the frustrating things for me, is that Clement, when he came in at the start, said that he would give youth a chance, that he would allow youth to flourish in the team. Well, why is he not trying it? Why is he not following through on his commitment? Especially, you know, when we've had these injuries in the past, why are we not seeing some of these youngsters coming through? We play the most boring football and don't score enough goals. In Scotland, Rangers should be on the front foot, creating chances and scoring goals. Agreed. Sir Walter said that it is not wrong to expect Rangers to win every single game, and he was right. Odd One Boar says, no Rangers youth player wants to step up to the first team and getting shouted at outside the ground after a bad like Tav gets at Ibrox by so-called fans. I think that's completely different. I honestly believe, Odd One Boar, that the youth players will be given a chance. I think the lad who had a go at Tav after the Celtic game, that is a culmination of not just one game or 2 games. That is a culmination of, I think, a number of seasons after the Europa League final. After the Europa League final, James Tavernier has dropped off remarkably and has become a far worse player. So I do think that the abuse that he gets, the young players would not get, because fans would see that these kids are coming through, they're still developing, whereas Tav is supposedly, he's the captain. He's not a captain. He supposedly is the leader of this team. He isn't that. And he's been shit, and he's been a serial loser. And I honestly think, Odd One Ball, that young lad spoke for a number of Rangers fans when he had a go at Tav. I would have a go at Tav. If I saw Tav in the street tomorrow, if I saw Tav outside the ground, I would tell him exactly what I think of him. I'd tell him, you're a serial loser, your performances are not good enough, you need to get out of our club, you're a waste of a jersey. I would tell him that. Jay Yen says, I want Clement gone. I remember talk quite a few years ago about giving an extra substitution if the player was from the youth setup. Seemed a good idea. Don't know why it never happened. That's a great shout. Not yet, Paul. We're still waiting because the kickoff is delayed till 3:45. So I'm expecting team news at around about 2:30-ish. Next 15 minutes, mate. How many people say Rice is better than Lennon Miller? Basis on what? Lennon Miller, the one who got his chance and producing goods. It's based on, I think, what the youth coaches at Motherwell were saying at the time, that when he was signed and when he was scouted, people rated him more highly. Hey, mate, Rangers great again. How are you doing, buddy? Good to have you here. JN says, Clement talks too much, just like Beale. Rangers dropped off since the Europa. Yep, agreed. Clement is football lexic. Good shout. Stuart says, Tav wanted to leave, but he realised he's not in demand or any good. I think as well, Stuart, the problem is that James Tavernier is paid £30,000 a week at Rangers. How many other clubs are going to pay him 30 grand a week? And if you look at the clubs who came in, well, allegedly came in for him in the transfer window, you're looking at English League One clubs. You're looking at Turkish clubs. You know, clubs that are not going to pay him what we pay him, what we pay him. William White says, instead of playing players out of position, surely it would make sense to put a youth player in. Agreed, William. Odd One Ball says, no excuse for abuse outside the ground. I disagree with that. I think everybody is entitled to their opinion. We live in a free society, and if you want to voice your opinion, you are allowed to voice your opinion. Okay, providing you don't get to a point where you are physically threatening somebody or you are using language that is threatening towards them. If you are saying to James Tavernier outside the ground, James Tavernier, you are a shit footballer, you are not good enough to play for Rangers anymore, you're a shit captain and you're a serial loser, there is, in my opinion, nothing wrong with that. That is someone's opinion. They're entitled to their opinion. I will die on a hill to allow people to have a freedom of speech in this country. Unfortunately, I don't want to get political here, but at this moment in time in this country, we don't have freedom of speech. You know, you are locked up these days for a tweet, for a comment on Facebook, for a TikTok video, yet you're allowed to walk free if you break a police officer's nose, or if you rape a child, you can walk free in this country. Yet, if you say something nasty, you get locked up. I believe that in this country, we have freedom of speech. And if you want to stand outside a ground and you want to say to James Tavernier, you are a fucking waste of space, mate, go for it. It's your right it's your right. Afternoon, Stephen. How you doing, buddy? Wasn't there a lad in the City Academy better than Sean Wright Phillips, but due to poor attitude never got a chance? I mean, attitude's a big thing, Airwolf. Young players can be ditched because of their attitude, correct. Yeah, late kickoff today, guys. It's a 3:45 kickoff today. I'm going to put that on a banner at the bottom so people can see it. Kickoff delayed due to weather and travel issues to 15:45. Just put that on the ticker at the bottom so you can all see that. So people joining it late. There we go. Kickoff delayed. Dream Crusher says, bet my home. Yeah, I think so, mate. You know he will. What's your problem with the ginger race? We didn't come over in boats to invade the country. That is the most random comment I have ever seen in my entire life, mate. When have I ever made any remarks about gingers? Weird. Hello, Matt. How you doing? Good to see you. Igman and Lovelace should have been tried on the left before now. Why would young players come to our fantastic... Good shout. Great. Why are we not seeing them there? I mean, particularly now Tom Lawrence is out. Why is Bayrami not being played in the 10? We're not using Igman out wide left or using Lovelace out wide left. That's a great shout. Make Rangers great again. Tav is pish. To be honest, the boy wasn't wrong. He wasn't, was he? The problem with Tav is he is mismanagement by the club. I disagree with that. The problem with Tav is he can't play football anymore. Chucked in jail for a Facebook post whilst violent thugs are released early. Pathetic. Well, that's two-tier care for you. Ben Woodburn, the next big thing. Look how he turned out. True. Dessers is as much use as a one-armed symbol. Yeah, good point, mate. Good point. Dessers is about as much use as the midnight black traffic cone. I've thought for free speech that was a dream by a lying state was child souls I don't support anymore. Your view, but like I said, I do support this country. I do believe in this country. I do believe in the United Kingdom. I have a Union Jack flag in the corner of my room all the time there. You can see it with my dog asleep on the bed. So yeah, I do believe in this country. I will always believe in this country. What is Clement's problem with Hagi? He needs to wisen up, player. But absolutely, why is he not using Hagi? I agree with that one 100%. Why are we not seeing Yanis Hagi? I don't get it, mate. I don't get it. I mean, especially at the moment with the fact that that Tom Lawrence is injured. I mean, you've got a ready-made replacement there in Yanis Hagi. I don't get why he's not playing him. I genuinely don't. The guy's quality. The guy's quality. The guy is a good footballer. He really genuinely is a very good footballer. And people who say that he's not a good footballer, people that say that he's not a top player, go away and look at his performances for Romania in internationals. Go away and look at his performance in the Euros against who was it? Against Holland. Holland are one of the best teams in the world right now. You've got some fantastic players. Make my bed. Yeah, it's not my eyes. It's the dog, mate. It's the dog. Chelsea currently 2-0 up with 1 minute to go in the Premier League game down south of the border. Nico Jackson and Fernandez with the goals. Astrid Wet will be wetting herself at that one. Do you think we have a player onboarding problem? Possibly, yeah. Getting players settled in, that's a good shout. We may have that issue. When Clement was at Monaco, he never used the youngsters. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Could see that. Yeah, I agree with you, Dado. I mean, Monaco fans don't like him. JN says the youth saved Alex Ferguson at Manchester United. It was lucky to get the time to realise that. I'm astounded that Clement has not tried to use the youth, given his methods are not working. Agreed. CJ, it was the dog that made it untidy. Yes, I want Hagi in the team. He can create. Yeah, that's the good thing, mate. He does create, doesn't he? Clement is just as stubborn. He won't change. That's why Monaco binned him. It is. And you talk to Monaco fans. Talk to Monaco fans about him. Genuinely. He's treating Hagi the same as he did with Cantwell. Correct. He doesn't seem to like creative players and free-spirited players, does he? We need to see Danilo, Hagi in the 10, Bayrami on the left, Tierney on the right, Barron and Raskin in the holding roles, Hiefte, Balogun, Souttar, Sterling. Great team. I like that team, mate. Rangers great again. That's a top team, mate. That's a top team. That's a really good team. I like that team. That I think would be effective. I think it would be attacking. I think it would do. Definitely. He's treating Hagi the same as he did with Cantwell. William, I think you're right on that one. Is Clement trying to push Hagi out like Cantwell? I would say so. I mean, that seems to be the news that is coming out of Ibrox at the moment. Is very much the situation being that he wants Hagi gone, that he doesn't want Hagi anymore. I do think that seems to be the actual truth of the matter, mate. So, yeah, I think there's some truth in that one. I really do think there is some truth in what you are saying there on that one. In terms of Todd Cantwell, as far as I'm aware, from what I've read, he's doing well for Blackburn down there. They seem to quite like him. Their game has been postponed today. The 11 appearances, 2 assists for them, had an 18% goal participation rate. So he's done quite well for them down there. Tell Shadow to make his better than I'll tell him, mate. Cantwell is better than what we have. I would agree. I like Todd Cantwell. I didn't have a problem with Todd Cantwell. I mean, I think he could have shut up sometimes and not perhaps used social media to the extent that he did. But no, I got no problems with Todd Cantwell. Never did. Dado Percy Blue Boot says that's not true. 10% of Monaco season of the Clement was academy players, 5 players from the academy. Maybe, I don't know. I don't particularly look into Monegasque football. I'm not particularly interested in it. Getting rid of Cantwell but keeping Lawrence and Dowell is madness. I would agree 100% with that one. It is absolute madness. He said he would like to make a return. I think he would. I think if Clement wasn't the manager, I think he would be quite happy to come back to Rangers. I think he liked being at Rangers. I think he did, and I think he would quite happily return to the club. I think he genuinely would happily return to the club, as long as Clement's not here. If Clement was here, he's not going to come back, is he? Because he knows that Clement doesn't like him. He knows that there's an issue between him and Clement. I think time will tell what the issue was, and I don't think people are going to come out and say it now, but I think once Clement goes or once Cantwell retires, we might actually find out what the truth of the matter was between the two of them. And I think there was a falling out. Monaco had a massive squad when Clement was at the club. Again, I don't know. 10% is 1.1 players a game. There we go. So, look, I mean, I'm honest with you. I think today, I think we do need to see some fresh faces. We need to see a more attacking lineup. We do need to stop at attacking lineup. We really do. Odon Bohr says we need to stop paying millions in loan fees and play youth and realise it will take years to compete again, if ever, with the money Celtic have made. I mean, that's a pretty good point, to be honest with you, Odon Bohr. I think we are wasting a lot of money in loan fees. I mean, if you think we pay out loan fees and then those players may never join us, you've actually wasted a lot of money, because I think if you're paying out a loan fee on an obligation to buy, and then that loan fee comes off the transfer fee, you then pay for the player. So, like, for example, the Diamande situation, I think I paid £1 million loan fee. He cost 5 million, so it was 4 million to pay. So, you know, the same with Cortez. We'd have paid a loan fee for Cortez, which would have been subtracted off the transfer fee, which is good. But when you're paying, say, Seema, a loan fee for Seema, and he's never going to come, and you are paying, for example, a loan fee for, say, Cheney, who might not come, and we paid £1.5 million loan fee for Cheney. Now, if Cheney doesn't join, that's £1.5 million down the toilet. It really is. So yeah, I agree on that one. Would love to see us trying a back three, switch up a bit. I mean, Stuart, I think any formation change would be good. 4-4-2, 4-3-3, 3-5-2, 3-4-1-2, 3-4-3, anything like that would be good. But Clement's already said that he won't change formation because, in his words, he doesn't want to confuse the players, which, I'll be honest with you, if your players can't cope with playing more than one formation or having one or more formation they can play in, then you've got to kind of ask a question about their football intelligence, which I don't get. You know, John Terry talked about how Mourinho drilled them to play lots of different formations. There we go. Camera wasn't good enough for Tate in 20 less games, almost more goals and assists, but in a better teammate. Todd wants to play Clement's style is to play too negative. He is too negative. Let's be fair, the asylum is run by the inmates. True fucking story, so I wouldn't be expecting to see any sanity today, but I've got the balls crossed here. True. Sack Philippe Clement and bring back Cantwell, Kent and Cholak. Mate, I'd love to see Cholak back. I like Cholak. Seema or Tillman, which was the biggest miss? Seema for me. Seema is class. I love Abdallah Seema. The guy's class, and the guy scored countless goals in the Champions League, and he's doing it for Brest, which I think is a hilarious name, in France. So yeah, I do like him. You need flexibility in formation, even in the game. Gio did it a few times, particularly in Europe. You do, and the best coaches in the world have a flexibility of formation. So you may see on it written down on paper 4-3-3, 4-2-4, 4-4, whatever, but they may not attack as that or defend as that. You see different ways of attacking and defending, different shapes. Manchester City have a very different way of attacking and defending. Liverpool do. You know, so I do think you've got to have a flexibility there, something we don't seem to have. We could play 6 up front and still struggle to attack. Some of our players agreed. ADL2, absolutely freezing outside. I was soaked up at Newett Hill. Bless you, mate. Poor you. Mate Rangers Greg likes breasts. Well, I was talking about the place in France, mate, rather than the actual woman's body part, which will probably get me sacked. Oscar Cortez and Zach Lovelace joined us at Edmiston House ahead of the fan zone today. So it looks like Zach Lovelace and Oscar Cortez obviously will not be playing any further part in the games today. Well, we know Oscar Cortez won't be. We know that he is out and will start training next week. So I think we're about 2 minutes away from news. Guys, 99 people watching, please smash that like. Please, obviously, as well, subscribe if you've not yet subscribed to the channel as we continue to try and build up the channel. We are currently sitting at 6,619 subscribers. I would love to get to 7,000 subscribers by Christmas, which is not far away. Apparently, it's about 32 sleeps to go. So I was told the other day. Yes, please smash that. Okay, let's have a quick look through some more comments for that. Seema is proving his quality. We should have used the Cortez and Igman and Cherny loan money to buy him. Agreed on that one. Yeah, okay. No worries, mate. Shankland last season, more goals than Kyogo in a lesser team. Todd De Bruyne was... Yeah, true. Hilarious name. But it's spelled breast instead of breast. Yeah, I know. It's spelled differently, mate. I'm just joking. Trying to make a joke of it. Trying to keep it light-hearted this afternoon. It's gonna get worse, isn't it? I mean, it could get worse this afternoon. You never know. You need to try and stay positive, or you could go mad. Really could go mad, couldn't you? Just genuinely lose the fucking plot. You know, supporting this team, you really genuinely could. But look, I mean, this afternoon, I want to see the teams should be out in the next minute or so. Oh yeah, perhaps we should change the name of the team, Rangers FC to Boobies FC. That's a great name for a team, Stephen. Great pod, and keep up the good. Thank you, mate. Thank you, William. Look, I was going to come on and do team news, obviously, but obviously we've just talked random shit for nearly an hour now, which is cool. I don't care how you spell it. I still like them. Mate. I think most men do. The guys the guy that's out for the season. That's unknown how much money we waste on him. You're talking about Cass. Now, I don't know if you were here earlier, mate, but Cass, apparently, I'm hearing that the injury might not be as bad as we first thought. The surgeon may have said that it may be an 8-week job or an 8 to 10 week job. So you never know. Anything could happen in the next 5 minutes or the next hour or the next month. You never know. You never know with Rangers players, do you? You never know what's going to happen with them. I'm still waiting for this team news to come through. Guys, team news is out. Ooh, interesting. Ooh, that's an interesting. Right, let's get the team news up. Who would like to see the team? Who wants to see the team? Who wants to see the team? Should we see the team? Should I bring it up? I'll try and get it up. Just a minute. It's being slow. I'm trying to bring the internet up. The internet is being shit. Let's have a look. I'm going to bring the team up on the screen for you in a minute. Here we go, guys. You are going to be surprised and not surprised. So, there we go. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's coming. Don't get too excited. If anybody wants to do a drum beat, get the drum beat going. If anybody wants to do a drum beat, get your drum beat going now. It is coming, I promise you. It's just being really slow. Come on, team. Here we go. Here's the team. So the team for this afternoon's game is as follows. Butland in goal. Sterling in at right back. So Tav is dropped. Get in! Come on! No James Tavernier in the starting lineup. Yes! Fucking yes! Souttar proper in the team. Hiefte, a bit disappointed that proper's in the team. Barron and Raskin and Diamande. Bayrami, Cheney and fucking Dessers again. Ugh. Yeah, Dessers is in the team, guys. Dessers is in the team. Subs this afternoon. Your subs this afternoon for Rangers are as follows. Liam Kelly, James Tavernier. Boo. Ridvan, Dowell, Balogun, Igman, Hagi, McCausland and Danilo. Yeah, so decent bench. That's a decent bench. That's quite a strong bench, actually. There's a bit of impact to come off that bench, certainly. I think it really is a kind of, he gives with one hand and he takes with the other, doesn't he? It really is that kind of situation where Clement gives with one hand and he takes with the other. So Sterling is in place of Tav, which I think is a great move. Great move. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I never see James Tavernier in a Rangers shirt again, it'll be too soon. I mean, it genuinely would be too soon. I mean, I used to like the guy. I used to really respect the guy. I used to stand up for the guy. I used to be pro Tav. I now fucking can't stand the guy. I absolutely hate him with a passion. I genuinely do hate him with a passion. But look, I mean, having Sterling in the starting lineup, I think is a good move by the manager. I would have liked to have seen Danilo start. I mean, how is Danilo going to get match fit sitting on the bench and only playing 20 minutes here and 30 minutes there? I think that's a pretty shit move by the manager. But then again, it is Philippe clueless. So what do you expect? So overall, I like that team. I mean, Butland, Sterling, decent. Souttar, decent. Proper. Okay, I'd rather have Balogun there. Hiefte, fair enough. Barron and Raskin, quality, absolute quality. I like that one. What else have we got? Barron and Raskin. Diamande, I think that's a bit of a mistake given how bad Dio's been in recent games. I think he needs taking out the firing line. I really do. So I am slightly concerned about that one. But I'm pleased with the Cheney Bayrami thing. I would have liked to have seen Hagi, don't get me wrong. Rather than Dio, I would have preferred to have seen Hagi. I really would. But look, it is what it is. I mean, I suppose at the end of the day, Clement's never going to cave to perceived fan pressure, is it? He's always going to be a bit like fuck you to the fans, isn't he? I mean, that's him all over. It really, really is. So it's interesting, isn't it? Interesting. Let's get some of your comments up, and we'll bring the team back up in a minute, so we can probably discuss it. What else have we got? Every time you mention a Celtic player, but cheers for shout, whatever. No Dessers for fuck's sake. Yep, he is there. Tav shouldn't even be on the bench. Pisses me off when he comes on and has the cheek to take the armband back. I agree with that. He shouldn't be taking the armband back. I agree with that. Whatever. Delighted Tav is out. Yeah, me too. Delighted Tav is out. That Tim is now banned. That's like waiting for Clement to change tactics. Never going to happen. Jay, I want Danilo on. Me too. Airwolf says Danilo is a dud, but I think it's too late. I think it's too early to assess him, mate. Can we sign the 18? For fuck's sake. Much better having Tav to come on if you're needing a goal. As much as he's declined, he still has the ability to pop one in. He did have. I don't think he does anymore. What else have we got here? Williams says here, Barron and Raskin shouldn't be in the same team. Great players, but defensively too similar. I would say maybe at home that you've got a point on that one. Away, maybe not. Where's the pace? That's a good shout. Where's the pace? Good question. I have banned him. He is banned now. Hagi made to come on. I think, yeah, I really hope that Hagi does get some minutes, 100%. Jimbo says, shut up, mate. Always on Tav. No need, donut. Mate, I'll say what I want, mate. Jimbo, if you don't like what I say, fuck off. There's the door. If you're going to be a prat, come on here and criticise me. Come here on my own channel and slag me off for saying what I want to say in a country where we have freedom of speech, saying that James Tavernier is a fucking waste of a jersey, an absolute waste of space. Don't want to hear it. There's the door. Go fuck yourself. Seriously, Jimbo. Want to come back at me? Come back at me. Otherwise, mate, go and knob your sister. Barron and Raskin didn't work to start with, but now Raskin's fit. They play well together. They're a couple of crocodiles. Yeah, no Tav, but Dessers fucking hell. Yeah, Hagi in for Dio, but we got Hamza and Danilo on standby. Good shouts. Danilo is better than Dessers. Mate, I'm not taking any shit. I don't take any. Look, I've decided to be more like Mark Goldbridge. If someone comes in here and slags me off, I'm going to fucking rip them a new one, like Goldbridge does on his channel. I will do that, mate. I will do that. Okay. Like I said, I will rip you a new one. So the team, just to recap, there we go. So Butland in goal and is the captain, like that one. Sterling, Souttar, Proper, Yefte. I mean, Proper, I don't like it. I don't like it Proper. I prefer Balogun there. I really do. What else have we got? Yefte, Barron and Raskan there. I like that. I mean, personally, I like that. I like that. I do like this. I do like them two together. I think they're little fighters. I think they're battlers. I think they provide bite and nastiness, which I think Rangers do miss to some degree. Absolutely. Where is Zach Lovelace? Good question. Not on the bench, mate. That's where Zach Lovelace is. He's not on the bench. So that is a worry, isn't it? I mean, I would have liked to have seen Zach get some game time, certainly. What else have we got? Mate Rangers, great again. Says Jimbo away and take Tav's booby out your mouth. What else we got? CJ says, fuck it, say it. Tav's a fucking prick. Naz never got this club. Probably couldn't sing 2 words of the sash. Wish he'd fucked off 3 years ago. True. It's Owen's show. If you honest don't like it, fuck off. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I do, mate. Yeah, I don't. I'm like I said, I'm gonna be much more like Mark Goldbridge these days. If they don't like it, you know where the fucking door is, and you're gonna get called out on it. I saw Goldbridge absolutely roast someone the other day. It was hilarious. The bench, I actually like the bench. There's a bit of impact on that bench for me. There really is a bit of impact on that bench for me. Kelly, Tav, Ridvan, I like that. Balogun, Igman, Hagi, I like that. There's definitely a bit of impact to come off that bench. So I think, if it's a 1-0 or if it's a 0-0 and we need some impact, you've got Igman can come on, Hagi can come on, McCausland can come on, Danilo can come on, Ridvan. We can even bring Ridvan on, push Yefte further forward and put Bayrami into the 10. I mean, I'd like to see that as well, because I just think Yefte's got all the pace in the world. Really has got all the pace in the world, hasn't he? So Yefte would be great, I think, at that left back, that left wing spot. Yeah, the team does miss pace. I do think we have not got a lot of pace in this team. To get him in the ring for charity. Who? What? Goldbridge or Jimbo? Or Butler? We do need 3 points regardless. Good shout. We do need 3 points regardless of whatever the team is. It does need to be 3 points. Wow, that's a team, guys. That's a team. You're not like Mark Gold, but he's a tit who rips on Scott McTominay for fucking ages, saying he was shit, but we all know he's not. Yeah, I mean, I put it this way, mate. I would love to see Scott McTominay in a Rangers shirt. I think Scott McTominay is a good footballer. I mean, you've just got to look at how well him and Billy Gilmore are playing for Napoli. You don't get to play for Napoli if you're shit. Napoli are a good team. I think Napoli are a better team than Man United at the moment. So, guys, let me know. Let's set your thoughts on that team. Interesting team. I just love and hope everything. Hope that Cyril depresses name on the team sheet. Are we ever going to see that waste of money? Matondo again, good shout. I mean, he's injured again, isn't he? He's still injured. That's the situation. He's still out injured, which obviously is a concern. Guys, reminder, we will be back at 3 o'clock for the watch along in about 20 minutes, guys. I'm going to go and take a quick break now, get a drink, just check on a few things. I'll be back in about 20 minutes for the watch along, so please come and join us for that. Thank you for joining me for this ever so long pod. It's gone on quite a while whilst we've been waiting. Thanks for watching. As always, guys, please smash the like, smash the sub, comment, drop a share, every all that good stuff, please. And remember always, we are the people.